everybody, Dan from Bodybuilder in Thailand here. I wanted to talk with you guys about SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin, and like what it is, like why it's relevant to testosterone and gear and shit. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This does not promote the use of any of the substance in this video. Do not attempt. This is not medical advice and it's not legal advice. So basically what sex hormone binding globulin is it's a molecule that attaches to your sex steroids. It attaches with like the highest like affinity, so, sort of like there's two different types of hormones that it will attach to and it will render them inactive, right? So the one that it likes the most is dihydrotestosterone. That's the super potent testosterone metabolite that your body creates for things like basically like having like androgenic effects on the mind, masculinizing effects on the mind, sexual function, sex drive. It's the strongest androgen produced. It's actually, as far as attaching to the androgen receptor, it has about the same binding affinity as trenbolone, so it's very potent, but it doesn't build any muscle because it's rendered inactivated once it gets into muscle tissue by this thing called the 3-beta hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase. It's kind of a weird name. Anyways, though, so SHBG basically it likes dihydrotestosterone the best, regular testosterone the next best. And then the next one would be prohormone to testosterone, which is androstenedione. And then it attaches to estrogen. Those are like preferentially, it like attaches most easily to the more potent androgens, and then the less potently, it attaches least potently to the estrogens. So anyways, basically 1 to 2% of your testosterone is active in your body. The rest is bound up by primarily sex hormone binding globulin, but there's also some other things that that bind it up too. SHBG is made in the liver, so it's like a protein molecule, right? That basically it's like a glue for hormones, for sex hormones, especially male sex hormones, and it floats around in your blood and binds them up. You know, 98% of your testosterone is bound up by this stuff in your body. And it makes it so it can't be used. It makes it so that it's just a small percentage of the testosterone you produce is actually able to have an effect on the androgen receptors in your different tissues, because in order for hormones to express their qualities, they have to be able to attach to receptors on the nucleus of your cells. So anyways, free testosterone, well, reducing SHBG in the first place makes your testosterone that you do have in your body way more effective. It also, since SHBG binds dihydrotestosterone so potently, it binds it the most, and dihydrotestosterone is what is responsible for sex drive. It's also one of the reasons why reducing SHBG seems to increase people's sex drive so much. You know, people say Winstrol increased my sex drive, and Winstrol really doesn't have like too strong of an androgenic effect. And you think like, why? Well, taking Winstrol lowers the concentration of SHBG in your blood by about 50%. So that massively increases the amount of dihydrotestosterone, the sex drive hormone, floating around in your blood, okay? And don't forget that dihydrotestosterone binds to the androgen receptor about as strongly as trenbolone, and your body produces dihydrotestosterone naturally out of testosterone. So it's super powerful, super potent androgen, right? And so when SHBG is lowered, it has the benefit of freeing up a ton of dihydrotestosterone, which is also responsible for male pattern baldness and acne if you're sensitive to it. But those are only if you're sensitive to those genetically. If you're not, then it doesn't matter. And then it also makes your testosterone cycle a lot more effective, right? Because you know, when you are just taking testosterone in general, though, taking any steroids, high androgen levels, lower SHBG, just in general. But you want to, you know, like really have SHBG as low as possible, right? Sorry. And so it's good to lower it even more, because it doesn't lower it that much just to use testosterone. So that, you know, the testosterone that you are putting in your body artificially is not just being bound by these proteins produced in your liver that make it inactive and unable to do its job. So I want to talk about how to lower it. And the two primary ways that are used to lower it is either Proviron or Winstrol application. Like I said, just taking gear in general lowers it. Having high estrogen raises it. Actually, Trenbolone is pretty good at lowering it, and this is one of the reasons why Trenbolone works really good, you know, along with a good dosage of testosterone, is because Trenbolone actually pretty much like, it's like probably nearly as strong as Proviron and Winstrol at eliminating SHBG, so that's a big advantage there. But just taking hormones in general, male hormones, that lowers SHBG. But like I said, if estrogen gets high, that raises SHBG. And then, so how to lower it? And I wanted to say one more thing too, is that it makes you stronger. It makes your testosterone, it just makes your testosterone work better. I don't really see any reason why not to use Proviron on a testosterone only cycle, because it just makes everything better. It also makes less aromatization because it binds, okay, I'm gonna get into using Proviron now. I'm all over the place today. So Proviron, 25 milligrams per day is the dosage that's been studied. And it's the same dosage with Winstrol. Those are the two ones that like really like nuke SHBG the best. Winstrol is toxic, Proviron is not. And yeah, it takes the concentration of SHBG down about 50%. Really increases your free testosterone. Your free testosterone levels go way up. And then when you're training in the gym, you're stronger, and it's like you're on a higher dosage of testosterone, and there's like less estrogenic effects and shit, because Proviron and Winstrol both actually are, but especially Proviron, have like a high benefit, a high binding affinity to both SHBG, but also aromatase enzyme, which makes it so that there's less estrogen in your cycle, less need to use high doses of harsh aromatase inhibitors, and it increases your sex drive. It just kicks ass. Like, I feel like, especially I want to say Proviron, because at this point, basically, I feel like, why wouldn't you use Proviron if you did a testosterone only cycle? Because it just makes everything better. And it's not like a necessary component, you know, because it doesn't really build a whole lot of muscle. I mean, it doesn't build any muscle by itself, but it does build muscle by making more testosterone available, and makes you feel stronger, makes your sex drive better. It just makes everything feel a little bit more powerful, I'd say. But yeah, pretty much, I feel like using Proviron in general and just keeping SHBG as low as possible is good, and it's something that like I pretty much always want to do, you know. So if I'm pretty much usually nowadays when I'm just running testosterone alone, I always just take one tablet, 25 milligrams of Proviron a day, because yeah, it just makes everything better, and keeps that SHBG, that sex hormone binding globulin, completely suppressed, or 50% suppressed, which is about the most you can get it. And yeah, it makes for a better cycle. I don't think it's necessary, but I mean, if you have a little extra money, Proviron is definitely like, it's worth it to me. I think it's like icing on the cake. It's like if you can afford that luxury. Anyways though, so that's SHBG. That's why it's important. That's how it applies to gear and cycling. All right, Dan from bodybuilderinthailand.com.